Straight ahead. Jumping into action, two Stillwater firefighters commemorated Wednesday afternoon for their quick thinking, resulting in saving one's life. A new revelation regarding the governor's son, an open record request now shows the governor's eldest amassing multiple violations throughout campus. We have the details. Changes in the economy. Recent reports show that inflation continues to cool off, but how does that impact the cost for drivers at the pump? All that and more coming up. The Daily O starts now. Good evening, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Daily O. I'm Tyler Tripodi. We're glad you're with us as we're now officially 1 month away from the end of the calendar year. In local news, two Stillwater firefighters were presented with a certificate of commendation after saving someone's life. According to Stillwater Police, Sergeant Cluck and Officer Johnsonbaugh were called to assist with a LifeNet medical situation off of North Husband Street. Upon arrival to the scene, officers made contact with a female subject who passed out and was unable to breathe. Both officers were quick to action, ultimately saving the subject's life. Both were presented their certificates Wednesday afternoon by SFD Chief Essere and Assistant Chief Halcombe. Earlier this week, reports begun to surface involving Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt's eldest son. The reports showed that John Stitt had amassed nearly $600 of parking violations throughout the university. Upon hearing of the events, the Ocali TV team began to investigate the accuracy of these charges. As of this afternoon, we can now confirm the accuracy of that report. In an open records request, details emerged of a wide variety of different violations, including parking in a disability space, wrong zone parking, and failure to purchase a permit for the 3 vehicles that were on file. We've reached out to the governor's office to obtain a statement regarding how these violations were paid off, as well as if any taxpayer money was used in the process. We'll continue to keep you updated if there's any changes to this revelation. The cost of filling up is going down, according to AAA. The national average for a gallon of gas is $3.47. That's down 12 cents from last week and 29 cents in the past month. It's also the first time the national average has been below $3.50 since February, when Russia started its invasion of Ukraine. Other factors are also responsible for this downward trend at the pumps, including fears of a possible U.S. recession and Chinese COVID lockdowns. Some analysts predict gas prices will keep falling as we head toward the end of the year. Holiday season, GasBuddy says they could drop below $3 per gallon by Christmas. With the price of gas falling down, that means good news when it comes to inflation. According to the Commerce Department, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index increased 6% in October compared to that month last year. It's also down from the revised 6.3 annual increase from September. The PCE is the preferred gauge the Federal Reserve uses to measure inflation because of how it presents consumer price information. Inflation has been a major concern for the Fed this year, and they've been trying to bring it down by raising interest rates over the past few months. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said Wednesday that these higher interest rates could possibly start to ease by December. Now let's take a quick break, but when we return, one major nursing organization is planning their second strike. Find out more in our national headlines when the Daily O resumes.
I'm Kristen Hawkins. I went to Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater in '99 to 2004. I've always felt like Stillwater needed more family-friendly things to do, and we have opened up AR Workshop. We do everything from knitting blankets that can be done in a 3-hour class, and we create doormats and porch signs, the Christmas wreaths with our yarn that we use for the blankets. We also do, we just started a new project for gnomes, and we've done pumpkins during the fall. But our big thing that we do here are interior signs. Our designs are extremely unique to AR Workshop. Customers come in, everything is here for them to do. They create everything. They can be as hands-on as they want. They came in here to relax and have fun, and that they are proud of their project that they've made.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook, Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
Over the years, we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't always get a Mountain View hot link like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot links, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it gonna taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
Welcome back into the Daily O. Let's begin to take a look into your national headlines. Our own Zach Berger is here in studio with us. Zach?
Thanks, Tyler. Artist Kanye West is back in the national news for his recent comments earlier today. West appeared on InfoWars with Alex Jones, not backing down from his anti-Semitic beliefs, showing support for Adolf Hitler. This audio you're about to hear may be objectionable to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love, us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician. You can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good, and I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
This isn't the first time West is back in the national headlines. Just recently, Ye was under scrutiny for a dinner party he attended with former President Donald Trump and white supremacist political commentator Nick Fuentes. In other news, the Orion spacecraft is beginning its trip back to Earth on Thursday. As of Wednesday afternoon, the Orion was over 253,000 miles from Earth and nearly 51,000 miles from the Moon, moving at over 2,000 miles an hour. The spacecraft, which launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida earlier this month, is part of NASA's historic Artemis 1 mission. The goal of the mission is to test whether Orion can safely carry humans and aims to get astronauts back on the moon's surface for the first time since the 1970s. Earlier this week, the Orion hit 270,000 miles from Earth, shattering a previous record for the furthest distance ever reached by a spacecraft designated to carry humans. The Minneapolis-St. Paul area may soon experience its second nurse strike of the year. On Wednesday night, 15,000 nurses authorized a potential unfair labor strike. According to the Minneapolis Nurses Association, the vote, which it said passed overwhelmingly, gave nurses negotiators the right to call a work stoppage after giving 10 days' notice. The president of the MNA says working conditions for the nurses need to be improved to help maintain proper patient care. A previous hospital strike in the area took place in September, but it ended after 3 days. The Biden administration was dealt another setback in court Wednesday in its effort to revive a student loan debt relief policy. A second federal appeal court rejected a bid to put a hold on a ruling blocking the president's student debt relief policy. The court ruled Wednesday night that it would not pause a ruling from a Texas judge striking down the policy while an appeal of the ruling played out. The move sets the stage for the U.S. Justice Department to take the case to the U.S. Supreme Court, which is already considering a separate request from the Biden administration to reserve an order blocking the loan forgiveness program. About 26 million people had applied for the student loan relief prior to the recent court decision, with 16 million of those applicants being approved. Federal student loan payments that had been paused during the COVID-19 pandemic were set to resume in January. But the Biden administration again extended the pause period as legal battles continue. The payment pause will last until 60 days after the litigation is resolved. Biden's program would offer up to $20,000 of debt relief to millions of qualified borrowers. Well, that's all we have from the national news here at the news desk. Back to you, Tyler.
Thanks for that, Zach. Now we're going to take another break, but don't go anywhere, as when we return, we'll tell you everything you need to know in the wide world of sports.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
And the casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out, but the truth was that's all the federal government gave us.
Casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.
Welcome back to the Daily O. Let's dive into some local sports news. 6 OSU Cowboys have been named to all Big 12 football teams. Safety Jason Taylor, II, made the All-Big 12 first team, and Kendall Daniels, Brock Martin, Colin Oliver, Mason Cobb, and Tanner Brown earned second-team spots. Taylor is tied for first in the FBS with 6 interceptions, and Kendall Daniels is the Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year. Martin, Oliver, and Cobb are all also impact players for the Cowboy defense. They have combined for 8 sacks and 30 tackles for loss this season. Brown is the kicker for the second team. He has made 21 of 22 kicks this season, including his career long from 52 yards. He's second in the conference in points scored per game and first among kickers. The Cowboys will find out which bowl game they've been selected for on Sunday. Adding on to the award accolades, 3 Cowgirl soccer players have been placed on the United Soccer Coach All-Midwest team. Grace Yoakum, Olivia Dowell, and Allie Jackson were named to the list, as Yoakum earned a spot on the first team, Dowell on second, and Jackson on the third. The OKC Thunder got back in the win column last night after losing 5 of their last 6, and they did it without star guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is out with a hip injury. Although the Thunder went down big early and at one point trailed by 20 in the second half, the young team never quit competing. They were led by rookie Jalen Williams, who scored a career-high 27 points. 25 points from third-year player Devin Vassell wouldn't be enough for the Spurs, who took their 9th loss in a row. The Thunder will be back in action on Saturday versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Week 13 of the NFL season kicks off tonight in Foxborough, Massachusetts. The New England Patriots are playing host to the Buffalo Bills and also to Bills Mafia, the passionate Bills fan base who will undoubtedly be out in force. It's an interdivisional matchup as the Bills and Patriots are sitting at 2nd and 4th in the competitive AFC East. Both teams are in the hunt for that guaranteed playoff berth that comes with the top spot in the division. The Bills are still missing defensive leader Von Miller as well as offensive lineman Dion Dawkins, and the injury report for the Patriots includes receiver Jacoby Myers and running back Damian Harris. Led by stars like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, the Bills are the favorite to win tonight, but Mac Jones and the Patriots have plenty of reason to compete. The game will kick off at 7:15 p.m. on Amazon Prime Video. Now it's time for our last break, but when we come back, find out what happened on this day in sports history, plus we'll send happy birthday wishes to a few sports stars. Don't go anywhere. The Daily O will be right back.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, you know, this isn't it, it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
Hi, I'm Shauna here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our #1 items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.
A Golf Digest 5-star course, Best New Public Course won an Open in 1994, and a top 100 public golf course in America since 2003. This course, just 5 miles outside of Stillwater, Oklahoma on Highway 51, is named after one of the influential golf pioneers this game has known.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek's a modern golf course.
The beauty of the course is in large part to the elements of the grounds. The Georgia fairway is transformed from its original forested landscape. Georgia was used to combat the tough winters so golfers could play year-round. The greens are large and sloping bent grass hills. The low-cut bent grass can be similar to glass during peak championship conditions. The bunkers surrounding most holes remind golfers of a white beach rather than a deep hazard. Lake Louise, surrounded by the second 9, completes the perfect finishing hole. The long par 72 course perfectly combines nature with the difficulty of a championship course. Karsten's added challenge is the Oklahoma wind.
So there aren't any other schools in the country that have that same commitment to college golf as
we do here at Oklahoma State.
But if you're going to play at the highest level, you've got to be able to focus on where you want to go. And Karsten Creek does a good job of training you to do that, because if you don't, you're going to have a long day. And that's a great legacy that Coach Holder left, because that's the way he coached.
It's time to flip back the calendar and take a look at what happened on this day in sports history. Starting back in 1956, when the United States won its fourth consecutive gold medal in basketball at the Olympic Games. The 1956 Games were held in Melbourne, Australia, and the U.S. defeated the Soviet Union to take the gold. They were led by a 22-year-old Bill Russell and 24-year-old Casey Jones. Russell and Jones would both go on to have Hall of Fame careers with the Boston Celtics, winning 19 championship rings between them. Let's move forward to 1964, when the almost brand new Houston Astros got their name. The Astros were originally called the Colt 45s, but the team changed its name after just 3 seasons in the MLB. The new name was meant to look to the future of the team and the city of Houston. And on this day in 1989, Romanian gymnast and 5-time gold medalist Nadia Comaneci arrived in New York City seeking political asylum here in the U.S. Comaneci had fled Romania in search of a free life and was greeted at John F. Kennedy Airport by well-wishers and government officials. Comaneci now lives in Oklahoma, where she runs a gymnastics academy with her husband, American gymnast Bart Connor. And now let's send out some happy birthday wishes to some sports stars. Starting with Deshaun Jackson, who turns 36 today. Jackson currently plays for the Baltimore Ravens and has been in the NFL since 2008. The wide receiver is a 3-time Pro Bowler, and because he played 7 games for the LA Rams last season, Jackson is also the proud owner of a Super Bowl ring. And a happy 30th birthday to Javier Baez. The shortstop is now in his 9th MLB season and his first with the Detroit Tigers. Baez is a World Series champion, Gold Glove and Silver Slug winner, and NLCS MVP. Also turning 30 today is Gary Payton II. The Portland Trail Blazers guard and son of NBA legend Gary Payton is in his 6th NBA season. Payton II won the NBA Finals with the Golden State Warriors last season. Because Payton Sr. also won the Finals in 2006, the father-son duo can now compare championship rings. Moving back into news from throughout the nation, let's send it back over to our news desk as Zachary Berger has the latest in the sports world. Zach?
Thanks, Tyler. Former NFL star Antonio Brown is back in the news. Today, police in Tampa Bay have now issued a search warrant stemming from a domestic battery incident involving a woman. According to the police, the incident occurred on Monday as Brown and the female subject got into a verbal altercation that then became physical. Brown is now wanted on alleged battery. With the college football playoffs coming up, more games will now be played in the coming years. The CFP board announced it will expand from 4 teams to 12 teams beginning in the 2024-25 season. Earlier this year, the board voted in favor of the expansion, but for it to start in 2026. However, the College Football Management Committee asked for it to happen sooner. The national championship game for that postseason will be held in Atlanta in January of 2025 and in Miami the following year. One Big 12 coach will remain at the helm for the following season. According to reports, West Virginia head coach Neil Brown was informed he will be retained as head coach. Coach at West Virginia by new athletic director Wren Baker, according to multiple reports. A formal announcement from the school was expected later Wednesday as part of the university's confirmation of Baker's hiring. Baker, who spent 6 years as athletic director at North Texas, was hired to replace Shane Lyons. West Virginia finished 5-7 this season, but November wins over Oklahoma State and Oklahoma might have helped him earn another year in Morgantown. That's all we have from the desk for the world of sports. Back to you, Tyler.
Thanks for that, Zach. Now, before we let you go, many people throughout OSU and Stillwater have heard about athletic director Chad Weiberg. In his time here at OSU, Weiberg not only helps run one of the most successful athletic programs in the nation, but also makes sure he continues to remember the loss of one of his closest family members. Davis Cordova has the story.
There are few people that I would want on my team more than the smart, professional, and thoughtful leader we have in Chad Weiberg.
Chad Weiberg may seem to be doing normal desk tasks, but he has no normal job. He's Oklahoma State's athletic director.
So I think the role of the AD really is, try to solve problems.
Since his start in 2021, Weiberg has had a busy beginning. He's navigated OSU through NIL and the changing landscape of college athletics, facilitated 2 coaching hires, and engaged in millions of dollars worth of renovations to multiple athletic facilities. Weiberg got his start in college athletics following his 1994 OSU graduation, when he became Director of Corporate Sales and Donor Relations. From there, he'd serve in many roles until 2004, when he left for Kansas State. After 11 years in Manhattan, Weiberg had a short 2-year stint at Texas Tech. Then, in 2017, he returned to Stillwater as Deputy Athletic Director. For Chad and his family, OSU has been a constant. When Chad's father, Mick, became an assistant coach at OSU, Chad and his 2 brothers, Jared and Brett, had opportunities to attend basketball games and fall in love with OSU. While Chad was working for OSU Athletics, Jared pursued a similar path as his dad. From 1999 to 2001, Jared served as a graduate basketball assistant, and he was on the right path to accomplishing his coaching dreams.
It's one of the best memories we had of what those boys did together when they lived together and pursued their dreams.
FAA and the NTSB has confirmed that a plane carrying 8 passengers and 2 pilots did crash approximately 80 miles northeast of Denver tonight.
Jared died a month and a day before I was born, and ever since I can remember, at least, we have not forgotten the passing of Jared, and the university has not forgotten either.
I try not to think about it too much because, then I think it just would be a lot, right? I mean, that's just a lot to think about. So I just try to focus on doing the best job that I can.
Following the passing of Jared, the university has not forgotten. OSU holds a Remember the 10 run each year and has an annual dedication basketball game. As for honoring Jared, both OSU and his previous school, Northern Oklahoma College, have scholarships in his name.
And really, it's just like having a big, big family come in and wrap their arms around you. And they did that, and they continue to do that.
As a miniature memorial statue sits in his office, Chad makes sure that he, his family, and the university he helps run always remembers the 10 and his brother.
Remember each of them with a moment of silence.
Thank you for that, Davis. Well, that will wrap up things for this Thursday edition of the Daily O. Tune back into the Daily O tomorrow as Brody Myers and Connor Bergen will have you covered on everything you need to know heading into the weekend. For the Daily O, I'm Tyler Tripodi. Good night, everyone.
My name is James Remedi. Fired Up Stilly is the name of the business, and I'm one of the owners. We all 3 met, the 3 owners, working as employees at a similar place like this. What I hope for is for everybody to feel welcome, like family. Not only do I want students to feel welcome to come here and study and use our free Wi-Fi, but also I want adults and families to be able to come in. We've built a connection with a lot of people, and Stillwater's a big community, so we just want to invite everybody to be able to eventually make their way through our doors. Well, definitely the teas, I would say. Most people fall in love with them. They just got a great amount of energy, gets you going through your day, and it just kickstarts you to get everything you need to done. For myself, it would just have to be, being the owner, owning something that, is able to impact other people's lives, and, the way we can affect our community is something that I really have always wanted to do. We love our clients and our customers that come through every day, and we enjoy getting to know them.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best there is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.